Everyone, it's Roxanne Derhodge. Thanks for tuning in again today to Authentic Living with Roxanne. Today I have a special guest, author Alison Rand, and Alison brings with us some unique space. She's has a master's of social work, and she's had an amazing background. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Alison's background, but we want to welcome you, Alison. Thanks for coming on today.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here with you too, Roxanne. I'm really excited.
So Alison has had an eclectic background: copywriting, acting, voiceovers, which we'll talk about, audiobook narration, which she did with her second book. She's written two books. The first one is A Place Called Grace in 2018, where she traces the adventures while living in Italy as she struggled to find her footing as an actress. And her second memoir is unique. It's a story that's told from the point of view of her beloved poodle, Dea, which we will love to hear a lot more. She's an exercise enthusiast and really enjoys hiking and skiing. And she loves walking in Riverside Park by the Hudson River. And she was born and raised in New York City, where she currently lives with her poodle, Dia. So, Alison, you wrote two books, and and clearly the most recent one is something that's written from a unique perspective. But before we get into that, kind of tell us about our path of what got you to be a writer. Like what clearly you're creative from the word go, being an actress. But tell me, did you always want to act when you were young?
Oh, no, not at all. After I was a copywriter for a short time, and during that period, I was writing commercials. I decided to try the other way around to see what it would be like to do them. And it's a difficult journey, but I became an actress or tried to audition a lot, let's put it that way, and did a lot of commercials here in New York. And had a big life change after I got divorced. I decided to move to a foreign country alone. I was a little unmoored in New York City. I was just not feeling like this was home anymore and needed a huge adventure. So I
Mhm.
moved alone to Rome without speaking the language or knowing anyone or having any work. And I did do acting in Italy, by the way. There was a lot of American things going on, and I learned how to become a dubbing actress in Italy. So I
Mm.
was able to learn a new craft there. And ultimately, that's how I received my work permit, which is very hard to get by yourself. So, which is a big part of my first book, my very first memoir. Only a part of it, though. Yes.
So the second one, and that's just for everyone listening, that has become an Amazon bestseller. Tell us a little bit about the kind of the impetus or the space that you were in when you decided to write this second book.
Well, after I published my first memoir, A Place Called Grace, I heard from many people that they were so curious what happened to me because that book does not end in a fairy tale ending.
Mm.
It ended in a very bittersweet way. So I knew I had more of a story to tell, but I just didn't feel like telling it from my own point of view was the right way to go. So I really struggled with this because I wanted to write a second book. And then I found a different angle, and that would be my beloved poodle becoming the narrator of my second memoir, telling my story, intertwining with hers. It's all true, it's all honest, and it's all a completely different point of view because it's my dog's point of view about my life, my continuing story, which had a lot of ups and downs. So
So
it's
how,
quite different.
when you think about that, right? Like, I mean, to it's one thing to be creative to write a book from our perspective, but it takes a different, or should I say, a deeper level of being present and stepping into a space. I guess I'm going to say of intuition, where you're getting a sense of what Dea might be experiencing, and then you're capturing that in form of some sort, which eventually ends up in text. So was there a process? Because I'm
Oh,
very curious as a writer. I know what my process was and still is when I write, but what was that process like for you?
Oh, it was very difficult. I have a wonderful editor, so we worked very, very hard together on getting Dea's voice. Dea, by the way, means goddess in Italian, and that's what she is. I love Italian names for dogs. So I started writing, little bits, what I thought her personality and her voice would be, and my editor would push me, no, more, more, more. It has to be more like a dog, not like what I think a dog should be. It's what a dog is. Again, it's what I think a dog is, but more from a dog-centric point of view until we finally got her voice. And once we did, it wasn't easy, but it rolled along very, very nicely. And in fact, I know her voice so well that I did the audiobook of my second book. I've done both audiobooks, The Place Called Grace and Walking Allison. But in Walking Allison, I'm not the narrator. My dog is, so she has a different voice, and then I'm my own voice and all the other characters in the audiobook. So that was quite an adventure and tons of fun, but hard. But
Oh,
no,
I
it was
would think because I think like I write about what I know. Um, and as a psychologist, I'm going into real life stories and experiences and situations and those types of things, right? But it's
yes.
my perspective. Not that yours isn't on Dea's, but it's again a different dropping into the unconditional love potentially, or should I say a clarity of someone that is so close to you that you're kind of reflecting back, and you tell me if this makes sense, the frame of what she thinks you're thinking she's experiencing with you and then writing it in the book.
No, exactly right. So if I stub my toe, and I do this all the time, for me it's like ow, ow, ow. But from Daya's point of view, she's saying, "Look how silly you are, Mama. I mean, look at you always. Oh, I need to watch out for you. You need special shoes. You need this." What would she think of me constantly hurting myself or falling or whatever it might be?
Mm,
Um, you know, and my second memoir talks about a lot of things. It talks about COVID together. She's not a COVID puppy. She was already 5, but what it
mm,
was like to be so isolated in New York City
mm.
alone with, thank God I had my dog, but, and that's why so many other people got their quote COVID puppies. But it was the only sense of normalcy I think I had was being able to just walk my dog outside because the gyms were closed. I'm an exercise nut. There was nothing to do. Telephone to friends and be with my dog. But I'm divorced a long time, but I had fallen in love again a number of years ago. And this is all via my dog's lens, what
Mm.
she thought of him, everything that happened. And it's very, very funny. And when it ultimately didn't work out, unfortunately, from her point of view as well, it's quite all right. I have my mama all to myself, It's but also I've been sick. I'm okay now, I hope, but I've gone through serious illness. And I've been through cancer, breast cancer, multiple
Mm.
times. And writing about it in this second book, I don't write about it in my first book, um, was written via Daya's point of view again, which makes anything that's sad in my book, it's okay because she's talking about it and she's on to her next adventure. So she lightens it up a little bit, which in turn, believe it or not, really helps me. She helps me take the focus off of me and onto other things in life, besides taking care of her, but just enjoying life and trying to live in the moment, which is not easy for me to do, but because of this dog, I do a lot more readily, as opposed to the past and what can I do tomorrow. It's more about living in the here and now, which we all know animals live in, and we don't.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that you bring that up, right? Like, because I think of when my son was young and I was an executive and I was crazy busy and all that stuff. And then I had at that time in Canada, we had the year off. It started in 2010, sorry. And I remember sitting on my cul-de-sac, and I have a friend, her son is about 3 months older than RJ. And I remember for a moment, because the brain just wires you to, kind of think about what I could be doing or what I used to do with free time. And I would be sitting out there because I live on a little cul-de-sac, and of course the boys would be flying around, and all I could do, like all I wanted to do at that time, the that part of my brain was to read something, but I couldn't because I literally kind of had to always be on watch. And I remember there was a point in time when I really put down the whatever the magazine or the book, because what I recognized was really he was keeping me completely in the moment, but I was being pulled out by I should be able to read this, chapter in this book or whatever, until I just kind of put whatever I was reading down and completely engross the moment, which sounds like that's what dad does for you. It doesn't matter that yeah, sure, you're still thinking about the future, whatever. But it sounds like kind of familiar. And is that what dad does for you? It's almost it pops you out of your subjective reality of I've got cancer, or all those things that are real, because they are real. They're not going to go away. But you need not catastrophize about it. You kind of do what's within your control, and you let it go.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. Maybe I go overboard that way. There was a chapter in my book where they wanted me to come to the hospital to check something. And I said to the nurse practitioner, I can't leave my dog. I can't leave. Can't I go in the morning? And they said, well, we'd rather you come tonight. And I didn't. I stayed with my dog until the next day. And it was okay. But maybe I go too much the other way, but she comes first. She truly
Mm-hmm.
does. I don't have human children,
Mm-hmm.
but I love her as much as if I had a human child. And you know what that's like, the
Well, of
feeling.
course, I mean, I said you would walk into incoming traffic kind of thing, or do what
Yes,
you had to do, because obviously you're caring, you are the primary. And I
right.
see that with people that have pets that are truly connected to their pets.
Mhm.
That is the same as having a child. And, except you get the 2-year-old stage when they start to say no, and it's different then, right? But other
Yeah.
than that, it's that all I look at it as unconditional drop down
Yes.
regardless of the day that you've had. It's not about the ego, it's not about the accolades, it's not, they're just loving you for who you are, flaws and all.
Oh, totally. Even the more flaws you have, they love you.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what I believe animals, dogs and cats can teach you, but dogs being, you can take them outside and walk in the park with them. Just being with my dog in nature relaxes me, where it never really, I love nature and I love hiking, but being with her, I've learned to look at, because I've written this book from her point of view, I tend to look at our walks the way she would look at them. I look at the squirrels, I look at the chipmunks, I look at the birds. We listen more. We sit on a bench and meditate every day outside. And it's wonderful. It's a whole other way to appreciate where you live if you, especially if you like nature and
Mm-hmm.
you are with your, I don't like to say pet, but your dog or your cat.
Mm-hmm.
You live life a little bit the way they do, or you try to. What is she smelling? What is she thinking? And it's wonderful. It's just getting out of your head, out of your own story, even if it's for 20 minutes every 3 times a day or whatever it might be. It's a wonderful blessing. It really is.
Well, what comes to my mind when I hear you speak, Allison, is that it's what the world is chasing, which is mindfulness or meditation or whatever, right? Like, I mean, it's that you know space that oftentimes when I would say to people that I need them to use their senses, and we're looking for texture, and a lot of people that have pets, they would talk, or I used to have clients that would bring in their pets, their dogs with them, and back then it was before the concept of therapy dogs, but quite literally, that's what it was, the biggest comfort that that person could bring. And it's interesting because even back then, when I think of one particular lady that I was, complex PTSD is one of my specialties. and she was working it through. And that dog was so protective. It almost paralleled the space and the level of trust that that client had with me. And then eventually, as this lady developed trust, which takes a lot with complex PTSD clients, then the dog would come and sit in my lap versus
Mm,
the owners, because it's almost like she's safe now.
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
just kind of talking about what you're saying about Dea, not having having had a dog, but having had the experiences of treating people that have had pets that have been significant. And this woman also didn't have children of her own, but she was super, super connected to her pet. And but it took a while. It took a while before that pet actually would come. And when they would come in, then it would come and sit wherever I was throughout for the duration of the session.
well, that was a smart pet or dog.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
so which is wonderful. It was
yeah.
trained well. When you mentioned also earlier meditation, there's a part in my book where things were going so badly. I had broken up with my love interest and I had had cancer again. And I believe it was after COVID and just was a tough life. So I tried to become a meditator.
Mm,
And it's a very funny chapter, but I did learn to look at life very differently and via meditation, but not listening to gongs and chimes because Dea was always on my lap. And she writes in the book that this is such silliness. You don't need to listen to that. Just do what I do. I meditate naturally, Mama. And so she'd go out and smell the grass, go out and smell the flowers, and you'll meditate and you'll be fine. Just live in the here and now.
mm,
So of course, I don't go out and smell the flowers the way she does, but I did choose to meditate differently and without the gongs and the chimes, but to focus on what was really working in my life and not focus on all the negatives that I used to think of. And I became someone a lot more outward than I
mm,
was before. With my dog and the connection we have, uh, I have met so many new people,
mm,
neighbors that I never had spoken with before, who knew me, but before Dea, now we're good friends. Strangers on the street. While I'm walking Dea, she gives them knee hugs. Literally, she will give a stranger a knee hug. And it's such a wonderful feeling because they say it's the nicest thing that happened to them all day. And they
mm,
thank me and they thank her. She's an incredibly loving, giving dog. And just the people who want to say hello because I'm walking this very special creature is
mhm.
wonderful. It's so therapeutic. So it's not that I need traditional meditation, even though I do try to do that, but just walking her is meditative. And the joy that it brings, the quality of life that it changes in me just by meeting all these new connections. It's very
Abs-
interesting.
Absolutely. And I would say, from looking at it from my frame, is that it's forcing you to get out of your subjective reality and connect, which, with loneliness, what happens, right? If you think about what happened through COVID and you being in New York and, just I remember seeing the picture of Times Square with nothing. And you're thinking of that book, 1984, that, when you read and you thought that that would be possible. And then us coming out of it and combating it. So, when I think of your walks, right, you're forcing yourself to get out of your head, which is really what the brain does, is it wants to protect you, right? It wants you to protect you to keep you okay. And getting out allows you what I call the mammalian connection, which is just the ability to connect with other people. And, it's something so simple,
Right.
but not easy when you're isolated like we were, right? And then also being in a big city, right, compared to where I am, which is a little town, it's a little bit easier to kind of go out and maybe meet people. But with you in New York, right, and the bustle and all those things, then before you probably forgot what you were thinking about and worrying about. That will not probably never happen. Not that bad things don't happen, we all have things happen, but it gets you out of there, and then you feel better.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's fascinating though, the loneliness epidemic. I'm very interested in that subject matter. and how much a dog or cat can
Mhm.
help you live a more fulfilling life. I mean, they are always there with you. They can, if it's the right connection between you and your pet, can be one of the most fulfilling relationships of your life. It can almost be as much as with another person, sometimes more. The love is so deep, at least it is with me and my dog. But she has really taught me how to view life with a lot more humor, um, and has really helped to reinstill my own resiliency. And it's hard to explain how that happened, but basically, sort of what we've just said, getting out more, getting more connected with people, all via my dog, not me alone. Uh, it's helped me in more ways than one. I'm so attached that it's a little scary,
Mm.
but the love is so deep. But she has also helped me learn to trust myself more, which is an interesting topic in that in my first book, I talk about a very dysfunctional childhood and my father who I felt abandoned me, and I was separated from my siblings. My parents got divorced. So
Oh.
it was very not a great childhood that way. And so for much of my life, I've doubted myself and
Mm.
didn't really trust my own instincts. I always felt I needed my mother or my brother, both of whom have passed on, to help me, to help guide me. But while writing this second book, I discovered, as Dea is the narrator, that I have learned to trust myself on my own, um, by the help of her. I don't know if it's all just getting out more or
Mm.
um, learning to be more forgiving towards others because of her. I mean, if she makes a mistake, I get maybe angry for 1 or 2 minutes and then it's gone.
Mm.
So I think it helped me be more forgiving towards others and learning to love myself more, which
Well, it
is
sounds like secure attachment. I'm gonna, it sounds like what you entered into is securely attachment space with her. And I often say that most of us, me included, never grew up. I had some uncertainty in my childhood as well. And ultimately, children are, when they're kind of growing up in a secure, safe space, they resonate and learn and develop just learning to, by the reflective lens of the system around them that says, you are perfect the way you are, whether you're going to be an artist or you're going to be, you know, um, you know, someone that likes, machinery or whatever, right? Or you're, an extrovert or you're an ambivert. Your parents would just reflect back that to you, and you evolve into learning to listen to yourself. And I oftentimes, most people don't have that. And then at some point, as we become adults, then that's the work that kind of comes in our lap. And it sounds like for you, it showed itself in certain ways. But with Dea, right, the concept is learning to listen deep and profound within yourself to really what she was reflecting back to you, which allowed you just to learn to listen.
absolutely, it's absolutely fascinating to me. Oh, here she is, my little doggy,
Hi, hi,
star. She's
Deidre.
the star. I'm just the writer. She's the
She's
narrator.
adorable. She's adorable.
Yeah, no, she is. She's a love bug. She's an amazing
Yeah, she
dog.
looks like a little cuddly bear. So
Yeah.
when you did the audio, right? So I'm intrigued by this. How
Uh,
did you? Of course, now first of all, you're an actress, but how did you come up with a voice specific that you made up that was hers?
yes, but I didn't want it to be silly because someone's going to have to listen to the audiobook.
You didn't want them to have to listen to it.
To a
It was
silly,
too
stupid
silly.
book. Yeah, no, it's just it sounds just the way she should sound, in my opinion. A very opinionated, smart, intelligent, wonderful poodle would sound the way I made her
Could
sound.
you
But
could
then,
you could you
yeah.
tell us? Could you do one line for us
Oh,
in her voice?
all right, let me hold her and say,
Okay, okay.
okay. Um, Mama, what do you think of this podcast that's going on today? I think it's going splendidly, Mama. Something like that. Yeah.
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 So you just
Yeah.
kind of, so you intuited what you thought the voice should be like. And
Yes.
then that must, and how
It
long,
changed. Yeah.
yeah,
It
how
changed
long
a bunch of times, and it's
you
probably
changed,
not that
right?
well.
And
Right.
then how long are you recording at any given sitting with to get the book done?
Oh, I did. I start to lose my voice after about an hour, hour and a half. So at the most about an hour and a half. But then it's a whole process. I mean, because I will do her voice. She's the narrator, but I'm the main character. So I have to quickly then switch to my own voice, which is this, and then go
Right.
back to Mama, what do you think of this? And then go back to that. And there are male characters in there, and there are friends in there, and there's the whole book.
So you voiced all the different characters in the book.
Everything. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's
It,
wow. It's one thing to just narrate your own book, Allison. It's a whole other thing to do all the characters, especially Dea, right? Because she's kind of she's the thread throughout
right.
that's connecting
Exactly.
all the stories.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And I grueled with that. It was grueling, fun, but grueling. And I'd go back and listen and I'd say to the audio engineer, no, I have to change Daya's voice. It didn't sound right, or my own voice sounded like Daya's. And it can be a little confusing. But I love it. I love it. It's charming.
Wow.
It's difficult though. It's very hard to do audio narration. Not easy.
Yeah, I haven't done it, but I appreciate anybody that's done it, and it's available on Audible and all the other
It is on
platforms.
Amazon and Audible and
Okay, fantastic.
probably other platforms too. I did my first book. I did the audiobook for that as well. And while I was the narrator, I also lived in Italy for part two of it. There's three parts to the book, so I had to speak a little Italian. I had to be Italian men with their accents. So
Oh
I
my,
did that too. So that was fun. That was hard too. That was really hard, but
oh,
it.
absolutely. It
Yeah.
all sounds really hard, but probably really gratifying when you're able to kind of achieve those goals, getting it exactly the way you want it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And so many people don't like to read. They much prefer to listen to the
Yeah.
audiobook and they get the picture in their mind of.
Yeah, I do. I have listened to most of my books now because at the end of the day, sometimes, if I've been kind of, working a lot or my eyes are tired, I can close my eyes and actually listen. So I found that I've listened to I would say in the last year, most of my books that I've
Hmm.
read have been through audio. Now, when people are listening, because I know there's a lot of people that's, they're alone or they're struggling to really maybe they're going through different scenarios like losses. We talked a lot, you talked a bit, alluded to the loss of a relationship or loss of family members, which I've been through as well. Life happens and they're listening to you. What kinds of, if you could give them some words of wisdom or guidance about some of the things you learned going through those things and being resilient, what would you say to them?
Well, in my first book, A Place Called Grace, my beloved brother dies. He was my world. And it was one of the most horrible things of my life. And then my mother died. And then
Mhm.
my first dog, my beloved first dog, Alba, died. And I was in turmoil until this quirky octogenarian named Grace, my first book is called A Place Called Grace, came into my life. And she helped me regain my resiliency because, I had a tough childhood. It wasn't easy being separated from my father, sister, and brother. And she helped me more than anything in the world. She also passed. She died, but it stayed inside me. She helped me get the resiliency back. And I think, as they say in the journals, you just need one person
Mhm.
that hears you, that understands you. You really don't need a whole flock of people. And she was that one person. She got me, she heard me, she understood my sadness. She didn't try to make it go more quickly. She let me grieve in my own time frame and space. And so I would say, um, if you can just find one person that you can talk with that really hears you and doesn't rush you, that accepts your grief, that's major help. in getting through some of life's worst vicissitudes and serious illnesses and problems that most of us have. Uh,
Yeah, and we can't deviate from them, right? Things will happen in life. And, some days are going to be tougher than others. But to your point, and I know you talked a lot about Dea as well, or even the connection with a pet that, it's finding those things that really allow you to be you and to have that, if it's a person or a pet, offer you that comfort so that you can learn how to. And what I hear is that what Dea allows you to do is to be kind to yourself. Like, oftentimes we can be so much kinder if someone else is having a tough time, but when it means listening to ourselves. And one of the questions that I would use in coaching or with my clients is I'd say, if your best friend came to you and they were having this dilemma, what would you tell them? And oftentimes it's so kind and gentle compared to what they're kind of banging around in their head, which is, not gracious, not kind, not empathetic, those types of things, right?
Absolutely. And it's really learning to love yourself. I'm not sure I loved myself so much growing up. I
Mhm.
wasn't happy. When you're unhappy, it's hard to love yourself. And through Dea and through Grace, I
Mhm.
have learned to love myself. And it's very, very important. And to trust that you are okay, who you
Mhm.
are, and that you're making the right decisions, thoughtful decisions, that you don't always need everyone else to listen to your decision making. That I have a lot more confidence now that I'm doing the right thing. And also, the isolation. Well, I really don't feel lonely when I'm with her, but we all do at some point in our lives, and it's normal, I believe. Um, to just go with the feeling, to just go with it. Don't try to wash it away. It's okay to feel lonely. We all do. It will pass. And the saddest of feelings, they might not pass as quickly as we hope, but they will.
Mhm.
And life will get brighter in another time. And to just be kinder to yourself, give yourself a break if you've been through a bad time.
So if there's leaders listening, which a lot of our audience are leaders, and you want them to reflect on loneliness in their workplaces, are there some things that you would suggest that they consider doing?
In the workplace,
Yeah, in the workplace.
well, because I'm sort of isolated because I'm a writer and I work from home, so I'm isolated all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't work in an office.
Hmm.
The last time I worked in an office was when I was a copywriter. But there's no loneliness there because it's nonstop. That was a long time ago. When I was an actor, I would audition a lot. And it's a lonely job too,
Yeah,
because to
yeah.
constantly tell yourself you're good, you're okay. And you get rejection after rejection after
Mhm.
rejection. But I've haven't really worked in an office per se in a very long time, so I don't know exactly what that would be like. Uh,
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are working on their own now, even though they have jobs in hybrid positions, right?
right,
I
right.
think like your story about Dea and connecting outside of the home, I think is important. Whether, like you said, whether it's finding a cafe or having a special place that you take walks or those types of things, because I think what we found is that a lot of people are getting so accustomed to being alone, myself as well. And through COVID, I was also alone, and but I had an online group where I wrote my second book, so we met every single morning and we were writers, and most of us, what ended up happening is, and this is goodness, since the pandemic, we're still part of that group, and we pop like I've been popping in and out now, but we became each other's support systems, and that it kind of ended up morphing into something else, right? So I think it's just recognizing that sometimes we become cute creatures of habit, which is the opposite of connection, right? It becomes kind of easy to be by yourself and those types of things until
Yeah.
it doesn't become functional anymore.
Right, exactly. I like the telephone. I'm not a big texter, so in
Yeah,
a way, telephone is a lot more personal than texting.
right,
And I know
right.
so many people just text their lives away. I can't do that. So or even during COVID, it was the telephone and my dog. Those were my
Yeah,
two savers. It
which
was,
is which
it
is
was,
amazing. You know, that would probably be a very amazing question to ask for people. Like, what were the favorite things through COVID?
and
Or
toilet paper, right? Right. If you could find
you
it,
you and
right?
everybody else. So,
Yes,
what was
right.
as we wrap up? What was the favorite part of the book for you? Was there a particular part of the book or a story in the book that where was there was a favorite part for you that you might be able to share with us?
Uh, my very favorite part is actually the very last scene, and I don't want to give it away,
Okay.
but I'll lead up to it. It's just it ties everything together. It ties my brother in there. It ties me getting stronger, learning to trust myself, the bond with Dea. COVID has somewhat ended, and the park where I live has opened up, a brand new park, 6 months into COVID. So it was a godsend. It was a respite for for my neighbors and myself. So the gates opened up and we started walking, and there are all these new paths that I was walking on with Dea. And at the end, she pulls me towards something. That's the ending of my book that I love. I don't want to give it away.
Okay, well, it's and now you've left us like a good actress does, wanting more.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I hope so. It's a lovely, lovely ending. It's not bittersweet. It's really beautiful. So, yeah, I
Well,
love
this
it.
is an amazing story. Well, thank you so
Okay.
much for being here today. And what am I taking away? I'm taking away that we just have to look around and find out who or what is that piece that allows us to connect to ourselves. And I always say that we're all in this on this journey. We're always on this journey, and in the psychological world, we call it the EP, which is the emotional part. And we're always striving to heighten that part of us. And today, with Dea's beautiful story and presence, and Alison sharing these amazing stories, it shows you that you never know where you're going to get the most important lessons. So make sure you keep your eyes open and use those five senses to really take in things that you may be missing now, even if you're feeling a little bit down, because we all feel it. But the pebbles in the rough are right there, but you have to make a concerted effort to really try to listen on a deeper level to the things that might reconnect you or connect you maybe for the first time to a deeper part of yourself. Again, Alison, any last words? Why don't you tell everybody where they can get a hold of you, where they can get a hold of the book, so that everybody can go to purchase a copy and follow you wherever you're on social.
Oh, thank you. That would be wonderful. And I agree with everything you just said. Use our senses and trust in yourself and get a dog. Dogs help you so much. My website is great. It also will show you both my books. It's AlisonRandAuthor.com, and Alison is one L, Alison, Rand, Rand, author.com. And Amazon sells the book as well as the audiobook, or you could go to Audible to get the audiobook, which is tons of fun. I think you'd enjoy it. You can contact me via my website. There's a contact form, and I'd love to hear from any of you who reads my book or just in general, if you have
Who
anything.
has a story about a pet that would be inspiring as well to share? I'm sure a lot of people listening could probably tell us some amazing stories. Probably not at the level of Dea, but definitely up there.
Well, don't forget
So
she's a poodle, so she's a proud, proud
oh
poodle.
my goodness,
Yes, my love.
beautiful. For everybody just listening, she's a beautiful black poodle. She looks like black marshmallows. She looks so
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, thank
So,
you.
everyone, thanks for hanging out with us again. I'm always grateful. Please give us a review. Let us know what you're thinking about our guests so we can continue to have these amazing guests on. I feel privileged each and every week to provide someone that's inspiring the world to make it a better place. So, what's new with me? I'm just in the process of rolling out my cohort on my book for a live course in coaching in September, and the first cohort is almost filled, but looking to fill other cohorts. If you're interested, just reach out and we can chat a little bit further at roxannederhodge.com. Again, Alison, thank you for your time. Everyone, very grateful, and we will chat with you soon. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.